Welcome to your deep dive, all about brain exercises.
Ooh, brain exercises.
Yeah, we've got, a whole bunch of articles here all about memory improvement.
Okay.
And, what's really interesting is some of them suggest that those brain training apps,
Yeah.
they might not be, all they're cracked up to be.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, they might even be harming our focus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty wild, huh?
Yeah. So what is it about these brain training apps that might be causing this?
Well, that's a great question. And I think, you might be the perfect person to ask about this.
Well, you see, it's this idea of context-dependent memory.
Okay.
Our brains are really good at adapting to, specific environments. Take polyglots, for example.
Okay.
They do great with language learning apps,
Right.
but then they struggle in real-life conversations.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, their brain learned in one very specific context,
Mm.
and it struggles to apply that knowledge elsewhere.
So it almost sounds like, are we creating, digital polyglots with these brain training apps?
Are the skills that we're learning in these apps, are they actually transferable to real life?
That is the question, isn't it? And that's
Yeah.
exactly what we're going to be looking at in this deep dive.
Okay.
We're going to uncover the science-backed brain exercises that actually have the potential to enhance your memory in a lasting way.
I like it. So let's get into it. What exactly makes a brain exercise effective?
Well, memory expert Anthony Metivier,
Okay.
he outlines these 4 golden rules.
Okay.
First, it has to involve new learning.
Okay.
So your brain needs to work with fresh information, push its boundaries.
Okay.
Second, the exercise should have some level of complexity,
Hmm.
even venturing into unreasonably complex territory sometimes.
Okay.
This forces your brain to work harder, forging new neural pathways.
So not mindless repetition like we see in a lot of these apps.
Exactly, pushing the brain beyond its comfort zone.
Got it.
Third, variety and interest are super important.
Mm.
Boredom is the enemy of engagement.
And if your brain's not engaged, it's not learning effectively.
Makes sense.
And finally, frequency.
Okay.
Consistency is key to building those mental muscles.
So challenge, novelty, engagement, and consistency.
Yeah.
Sounds like a workout routine for the brain.
Precisely.
I like it.
Are you ready to dive into some specific exercises?
Let's do it. Let's get those mental muscles working.
Okay.
What have we got?
Well, let's start with a simple but powerful one.
Okay.
It's called the 4 details observation exercise.
Okay, the 4 details. What is that?
It's all about training your brain to be more observant.
Okay.
The idea is to choose 4 specific details about people that you encounter during the day.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anything.
Okay.
The color of their shirt, their hairstyle, an accessory,
Okay.
a particular mannerism, anything.
So like if I'm at the coffee shop
Yeah?
and I see someone with a, bright yellow scarf, a silver ring on their index finger,
Uh-huh.
they've got a messenger bag slung over their shoulder, and they have this habit of tapping their foot.
Yeah.
Those are my 4 details.
There you go.
Okay.
The challenge is to remember these details later in the day.
Okay.
Dr. Gary Small,
Okay.
a leading memory expert, refers to this as passive memory training.
Passive memory training.
Yeah, you're not using any special techniques, just prompting your brain to do what it's supposed to do, to remember.
I like it. So passive memory training. It sounds like I just, sit on the beach.
Right, yeah.
My brain just does all the work. What does that actually mean?
Not quite that effortless.
Okay.
It's about working with your brain's natural tendencies.
Okay.
We are bombarded with information constantly,
Right.
but we don't really make a conscious effort to encode it.
Mm.
Passive memory training encourages us to actively engage with our surroundings.
Okay.
So instead of just glancing at someone, you're actually seeing them, noticing the details, making mental notes,
Okay.
like shifting from autopilot to manual mode.
Interesting. So it's almost like you're breaking free from that just passive intake of information.
Right.
And really engaging with your environment.
Exactly.
I like it. How can we make this exercise even more challenging?
You can scale it up,
Okay.
start with one person, and then increase the details or the number of people.
Okay.
You can even apply it to observing other things,
Oh.
buildings or cars. The key is to make it a conscious practice.
So it's not even just the exercise itself. It's about building that habit of observation, which will then strengthen our memory.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it. What's next?
Let's switch gears to something called add 3 minus 7.
Add 3 minus 7.
A little mental math workout that can sharpen your focus.
Okay, I'm up for a challenge. How does this one work?
It's deceptively simple.
Okay.
You start with any three-digit number,
Okay.
add 3 to that number 3 times,
Okay.
then subtract 7 from that new number 7 times.
Okay.
And you repeat that whole process at least 5 times.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Uh-huh.
If I start with the number, say, 258,
All right.
I'd add 3 to it 3 times.
Yeah.
So that'd be 267.
Right.
Then I'd subtract 7 times
Yeah.
from 267.
Right.
And then I do that whole sequence 5 times.
Exactly.
Wow. That's a lot of mental juggling.
It sounds straightforward.
Yeah.
But the challenge is in holding all those numbers in your working memory,
Right.
keeping track of where you are in the sequence,
Uh-huh.
performing the calculations accurately.
So it's not even just about the math. It's about that mental agility.
Exactly.
And focus.
And numeracy in general is such a fundamental cognitive skill. It goes beyond just crunching numbers.
Okay.
Encompasses logical thinking, problem solving. And research shows that people with strong numeracy skills
Yeah.
tend to have better overall cognitive function.
That's fascinating. So you're saying that, boosting our numeracy skills can actually have broader implications
Yes.
for our cognitive health.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay, what's next? Let's move on to number skipping.
number skipping.
This is a mindfulness exercise.
Okay.
Highlighted by Dr. Gary Weber in his book, Happiness Beyond Thought.
Mindfulness and memory. I like the combination. Tell me more.
This exercise involves counting from 1 to 10.
Okay, 1 to 10, I can do that.
But there's a twist.
Okay.
You skip all the even numbers
Okay.
without visualizing them.
Okay.
So you consciously pause where the even numbers should be, but you actively resist forming a mental image of them.
So I'd go 1 pause, 3 pause, 5.
Exactly.
And so on.
It's surprisingly challenging
Yeah.
because our brains want to fill in those gaps.
Right.
We naturally want to picture those missing numbers.
It's true. So that's a really interesting way to train your awareness.
Right.
Because it's making you break out of those just automatic thought patterns.
Exactly.
Now, isn't there like a variation of this with the alphabet?
You're thinking of a Renaissance-era exercise called the field.
The field. Yeah.
In this exercise, you mentally construct a row of letters from A to Z,
Okay.
and then you practice navigating it forward and backward.
Oh, like a mental alphabet game.
You could think of it that way.
Okay.
And then to make it more challenging, you start skipping letters,
Oh, wow.
just like you did with the numbers.
So it's taking it to that next level.
Exactly.
I love how brain exercises aren't even, a modern invention.
It's true.
To think of people hundreds of years ago doing this stuff to sharpen their minds is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Absolutely. And speaking of history, let's talk about the memory palace.
Ah, the memory palace. I've heard about this, but it's always seemed kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
Can you break it down for us?
It's often considered the ultimate brain exercise
Okay.
because it uses so many different cognitive functions,
Okay.
like spatial and visual memory.
So how do you build a memory palace?
You begin by conjuring up a vivid mental image of a familiar location.
Okay.
This could be your home, your childhood neighborhood, a park,
Okay.
any place that you know well. Then you map out a specific route within that location.
So I'm picturing like my childhood home. I'm starting at the front door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving through the living room into the kitchen.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And then you use vivid imagery and associations
Okay.
to place things you want to remember along that route.
So let's say I'm trying to remember my grocery list.
Yeah.
I could imagine a giant loaf of bread blocking my front door,
Okay.
a carton of milk spilled all over the living room floor,
Uh-huh.
a bunch of bananas hanging from the chandelier in the dining room.
You got it.
Okay.
The more unusual the image, the more effectively it's going to stick in your memory.
Wow. It sounds like something out of Sherlock Holmes.
It does.
But-
But does it actually work?
It's a technique that has stood the test of time.
Okay.
There's a famous anecdote about Matteo Ricci,
Matteo Ricci.
a Jesuit missionary who used memory palaces to learn Chinese very quickly.
Wow.
It's really a testament to the power of spatial and visual memory. That's impressive. Okay, what else do we have?
Let's explore the cognitive benefits of language learning.
Wait, are you saying learning a new language is a brain exercise?
Absolutely.
Really?
Bilingualism in particular offers a tremendous workout for your brain. You're constantly challenging yourself to recall vocabulary, grammar rules, cultural nuances.
Yeah, it's a constant mental workout.
Exactly.
You're always flexing those cognitive muscles.
Right. And studies have shown that bilingualism can delay cognitive decline
Wow.
and even reduce the risk of dementia.
That's amazing. I guess the takeaway there is that learning anything new is good for you.
You're right.
Whether it's a language or a musical instrument or any new skill,
Absolutely.
it's that process of learning and challenging ourselves.
Novelty and challenge are key ingredients
Got it.
for a healthy and active brain.
So stepping outside our comfort zones and embracing new learning experiences.
Exactly.
What's next?
Let's dive into the world of mind mapping.
Mind mapping. I've seen those diagrams before. How do they actually benefit the brain?
It's a visual technique for brainstorming and organizing information.
Okay.
So you start with a central idea,
Okay.
and then you branch out with related concepts, using keywords, images, colors.
Right. They're very visual.
Exactly.
Oh.
Tony Buzan, who created mind mapping,
Okay.
he had this idea that the technique actually mirrors the structure of neurons in our brains.
So are you saying that by creating these visual maps,
Yeah.
we're making it easier for our brains to process and store the information?
That's the idea.
Interesting. Is there research to back that up?
Well, the research is still emerging,
Okay.
but we know that visual representations enhance memory and understanding.
Okay.
Mind mapping taps into our brain's natural tendency to process information visually and spatially, which makes learning more intuitive
Right.
and enjoyable.
It's like you're speaking the brain's language when you create these visual maps, and you can apply it to so many things.
Yes.
Note-taking, problem-solving, brainstorming.
It's a very versatile tool.
I like it. Okay, what's next?
Let's get physical.
Okay.
Well, at least let's combine physical and mental exercise. Have you ever thought about incorporating memory techniques into your workouts?
Wow, that's interesting. How would that work?
Let's say you're at the gym lifting weights.
Okay.
Instead of just going through the motions, you can use that time to engage your brain.
Okay.
You could use memory techniques to memorize your sets and reps, or even rehearse information that you've been studying.
So like while I'm doing bicep curls,
Right.
I could be mentally reciting a poem I'm trying to memorize.
Exactly.
Or going over dates for an upcoming history exam.
You got it.
I like it. So you're challenging your brain and your body at the same time.
Precisely.
That's a great way to make workouts more mentally stimulating.
Right.
And there's lots of research about the benefits of physical exercise for the brain, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. John Rady,
Okay.
he's a renowned expert on the subject,
Oh.
has done a ton of work on how physical activity benefits the brain. He's a big advocate for the connection between physical and mental fitness.
It's a 2-for-1 deal
Exactly.
for well-being.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm sold on the idea of mentally stimulating workouts. What's next?
Let's explore memory-based meditation.
Memory-based meditation. Okay, this is new.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
It involves creating something called a happy memory palace.
Okay. A happy memory palace.
Yeah. Imagine filling a memory palace with positive memories,
Okay.
joyful experiences, moments that bring a smile to your face.
Okay.
Then, during meditation, you revisit this palace, allowing yourself to relive those positive emotions.
So instead of focusing on my breath,
Yeah.
I'm focusing on these happy memories.
Exactly.
Interesting. Is there any evidence to support this?
It's a technique that has shown some promise
Okay.
in helping people cope with PTSD
Wow.
or depression. It's about harnessing the power of positive memories to influence our emotional state and reduce stress.
That's fascinating. It really does speak to the impact that our memories have
Right.
on our emotions and our overall well-being.
Exactly.
Okay, what else do we have?
Let's take a trip to the art gallery.
The art gallery.
Yeah.
How do art and memory go together?
It's simple but effective.
Okay.
You visit an art gallery. You really take your time absorbing the paintings,
Okay.
noticing the details, the colors, the emotions.
Okay.
And then when you go home, try to recreate one of the paintings from memory in your mind's eye.
Oh, it's like mental photography.
Exactly. You're engaging your visual memory, your attention to detail, even your emotional processing centers.
That's pretty cool.
It's like a tapestry of cognitive function.
And engaging with art has so many benefits in general
Right.
for our brains. It stimulates creativity, imagination,
Absolutely.
problem-solving abilities.
It's a feast for the senses and the mind.
I love it. Okay. Are you ready for a few more? I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's talk about the importance of lifelong learning.
Lifelong learning. So committing to always learning something new, no matter our age.
Yeah, whether it's taking a course, reading books, exploring new hobbies.
Okay.
The key is to keep your brain engaged and challenged over the long term.
It's like telling your brain we're not done yet.
Right.
We're still learning. We're still growing.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what else do we have?
And finally, let's explore neurobics.
Neurobics. What are those?
They're basically simple exercises that involve using your senses in new ways
Mm.
to stimulate brain activity.
Okay.
So, for example, you could try brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, just shaking things up,
Mm.
breaking those routines, and forcing your brain to adapt.
I like that.
You could try showering with your eyes closed,
Really?
eating a meal in complete silence,
Wow.
walking a familiar route backward.
Mm.
There's ways to disrupt those patterns and force your brain to pay attention.
These are like little mental puzzles
Right.
woven into everyday life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they serve as a reminder that brain exercises don't have to be complicated
Mm.
or time-consuming.
Okay.
They can just be small little challenges that add some novelty to your day.
That's awesome. We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
from the science behind memory
Yeah.
to, these practical exercises
Yeah.
to lifestyle habits that can make a difference.
Right.
This has been really great.
It's been a fascinating journey
Yeah,
into how our minds work.
it is. So as we start wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are some of the key takeaways for our listener?
Well, first of all, real brain exercises.
Okay.
They're more than just playing games.
Right.
It's about challenging ourselves with new learning, embracing mindfulness,
Okay.
and cultivating healthy habits that support overall cognitive function.
And those 4 golden rules from Anthony Metivier are a good place to start.
Uh-huh.
New learning,
Yeah.
reasonable complexity, variety and interest,
Yeah.
and frequency.
It's a recipe for a brain-boosting workout.
I like it.
And don't underestimate simple strategies like observation, organization,
Okay.
stress management.
Right.
These are foundational habits
Right.
for a healthy and resilient mind.
It's like building a good foundation for a house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need that strong base to support everything else.
Exactly. And finally, remember to embrace curiosity,
Yes.
continuous learning, and new experiences.
It's about cultivating a growth mindset and continuously expanding our horizons.
So approaching life as an adventure,
Yeah.
always seeking new knowledge, new skills, new perspective.
Beautifully said.
So now, as we bring this deep dive to a close,
Okay.
do you have any final thoughts or a final question for our listener?
Of all the brain exercises we talked about today, which one resonates with you the most?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Which one are you most excited to try?
It's hard to choose. There are so many great options. I mean, I'm pretty interested by the Memory Palace,
Okay.
but I also love how simple and practical that 4 details observation exercise is.
Right.
It's like a little mini mindfulness practice that
Yeah.
you can work into everyday life.
That's great.
It is.
It sounds like you're already starting to think about how you can use these techniques.
It's true.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you,
Right.
what interests you, what you can realistically do
Makes sense.
in your daily life.
Yeah. It's not about, doing everything at once. It's
Yeah.
about choosing 1 or 2 things
Uh-huh.
and committing to those.
Exactly.
And remembering that this is a journey.
Yes.
There's no finish line.
Right.
It's about embracing the process,
Yeah.
experimenting and discovering what works best for you,
Absolutely.
and celebrating those small wins along the way.
Yes.
Realizing that your memory is sharper. You're remembering things more easily.
Right.
That's empowering.
It is very empowering. Nice.
And, it's about recognizing that we have a lot more control over our cognitive health
Right.
than we think we do.
It's a good reminder.
It's an exciting journey,
Yeah.
and I applaud you for embarking on it.
Thank you. It's amazing how all of these exercises really show how interconnected our cognitive abilities are.
Yeah,
It's like working out one mental muscle strengthens the others as well.
it is. That's a great observation.
Yeah,
It really is like cross-training for the brain.
exactly. And this brings us back to, our original mission,
Okay.
debunking the myth that brain training apps are the answer.
Right.
The be-all and end-all to memory improvement.
Yeah, it's about way more than just playing games on our phones.
Right.
It's about actually engaging with the world, challenging ourselves with new experiences,
Oh,
and, building those healthy habits that support cognitive function.
yeah.
It seems like mindfulness and just being present in the moment
Uh-huh.
are a big part of a lot of these exercises.
You're absolutely right. So many of these techniques are encouraging us to be more aware of our thoughts, our surroundings, our experiences.
Okay.
And that awareness is crucial for memory formation.
It makes sense. when we're truly present, we're more likely to remember things.
Exactly.
It's like we're creating richer, more vivid memories
Right.
that are easier to recall later.
Precisely. And, this emphasis on mindfulness also speaks to another important aspect of memory,
Okay, what's that?
managing stress.
Oh, absolutely. Stress is a memory killer.
It is. When we're stressed, our brains just don't function as well.
Yeah, when I'm overwhelmed, it's like my brain is in a fog.
I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Stress releases hormones that impair memory function.
Hmm.
So managing stress is just as important as doing the memory exercises.
So besides all these great exercises,
Yeah.
are there any other strategies for managing stress that you would recommend?
Well, certainly, activities like meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, those can all help reduce stress and improve overall cognitive function.
It's about finding those activities that help us relax and recharge.
Right.
And speaking of recharging, let's talk about sleep.
Oh, yeah.
We touched on it a little bit earlier.
Uh-huh.
It's so important for memory consolidation, isn't it?
It is. Sleep is not just about resting our bodies. It's when our brains process and store memories.
So it's like our brain is doing a nightly backup
Exactly.
of all the information we've taken in during the day.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty cool. So if our brains are doing all this work while we sleep,
Yeah.
getting enough sleep is essential.
It's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep.
Okay.
It's crucial for a sharp memory and overall cognitive function.
And it's not just quantity, it's quality too.
Exactly.
So a relaxing bedtime routine, minimizing screen time before bed,
Yeah.
a dark, quiet sleep environment.
All that contributes to a good night's sleep.
We've covered so much today.
Oh, I have.
From the science of memory
Yeah.
to practical exercises
Yeah.
to lifestyle habits.
It's been really enlightening.
It has.
It's been so fascinating.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what are some of the key things you want our listener to remember?
Well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
real brain exercises go beyond games.
Okay.
It's about challenging yourself with new learning,
Hmm.
embracing mindfulness,
Okay.
and cultivating healthy habits that support overall cognitive function.
So those 4 golden rules from Anthony Mativia.
Yeah.
A great place to start.
Exactly.
New learning,
Yep.
reasonable complexity,
Uh,
variety and interest,
Right.
and frequency.
It's like a recipe
Yeah.
for a brain-boosting workout.
I like that analogy.
And don't underestimate those simple strategies
Yeah.
like observation organization, stress management.
Yeah.
These are the foundational habits
Okay.
that lead to a healthy and resilient mind.
It's like we said before,
Yeah.
building a solid foundation for a house.
You need that strong base to support everything else.
I like it. And finally, remember to embrace curiosity.
Absolutely.
Continuous learning new experiences.
It's about cultivating a mindset of growth and exploration.
So approaching life as an adventure.
Yes.
Always seeking new knowledge, new skills, new perspectives.
Beautifully said.
Okay, so as we come to a close,
Right.
do you have any final thoughts or a final question for our listener?
Of all the exercises we discussed today,
Mm-hmm.
which one resonates with you the most?
So that's a good one.
Which one are you most excited to try or to incorporate into your life?
That is a tough question.
It is. There are so many great options.
Yeah, there are. I'm pretty intrigued by the memory palace,
Okay.
but I also love the simplicity of the 4 details observation exercise.
Yeah,
It's like a mini mindfulness practice woven into your day.
it is. And it sounds like you're already thinking about how these techniques could work for you.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it all. It's about finding what works best for you,
Right.
what you're interested in,
Right.
or what you can actually integrate into your life.
And it's not about trying to do it all,
Right.
all at once.
It's about finding 1 or 2 things
Okay.
and committing to those.
And remembering that this is a journey.
It is.
There is no finish line.
Exactly.
It's all about embracing the process,
Yeah.
experimenting,
Ah,
discovering what works best for you,
right.
and celebrating the little wins along the way. Like when we realize our memory is getting sharper,
Right.
we're remembering things more easily.
It's very empowering.
It is incredibly empowering.
It is. And, it's also about recognizing that we have more control
Yeah,
over our cognitive health than we might realize.
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's an exciting journey.
It is.
And I applaud you for taking it on.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it really is. It sounds like you're well on your way
I hope.
to a, sharper, more vibrant mind. And for our listeners, I hope this deep dive has made you curious
Me too.
to explore some of these exercises and, discover what works for you.
Yeah, it's a journey of self-discovery. Finding the techniques that work best for you
Okay.
and your goals.
Yeah.
And, it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about progress, consistency, and enjoying the process.
I like that. So it's like training for a marathon,
Exactly.
not a sprint.
We're in it for the long haul.
We are. As we wrap up, it's so interesting to see how many of these exercises emphasize connection.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. How so?
Well, like the 4 details observation exercise.
Okay.
It encourages us to connect with the people around us.
Yeah.
To really see them and remember them. It's a subtle shift,
Okay.
but it can really change our interactions and our sense of connection.
So we're moving from, a place of detachment to engagement.
Exactly.
Recognizing the people around us.
Right, and things like socializing, joining a book club, learning a new language. All these things create connections and a sense of community.
Right.
Which is so important for our well-being.
Those connections are like food for the brain.
They are. They combat loneliness,
Yeah.
reduce stress, and give us that sense of belonging.
Right. And even the memory palace, which seems kind of solitary.
Yeah.
You could actually use that to connect with others.
Oh, absolutely.
Really? Yeah.
You could share your memory palaces with friends or family.
Okay.
Create a shared space for learning and remembering. It could be a fun way to learn together.
Yeah.
Quiz each other.
Uh-huh.
Reinforce those memories.
It's like building a little community.
Yeah.
Inside your mind.
Exactly.
Sharing those spaces with the people you care about.
It's about weaving together those individual journeys into a tapestry of learning and connection.
That's beautiful. So as we embark on, our own memory improvement adventures,
Yes.
remember that connection is key.
Connection is key.
Connect with others, connect with your surroundings,
Yeah.
and most importantly, connect with that potential of your own mind.
Beautifully said.
Well, it's time for us to step out of this deep dive.
Okay.
And let our listener continue exploring on their own.
Yes, let's put all this knowledge into action. Experiment, play, discover what works best for you.
This journey of memory improvement, it's an ongoing adventure.
It is.
So embrace the challenge, stay curious, and never stop learning.
Absolutely.
And until next time,
Yes.
keep those mental muscles flexing.
Farewell.
Bye for now.